Shalom, all praises to the Most High, all praise to His holy name. Well, today as usual, I have great teachings available to bring forth, but I was listening to Elder Ayil, and as a matter of fact, what's up, Elder Ayil, my brother? And he put a thought, the Most High put a thought through His words in my head. So I'm going to talk about Purim today. Just in case some of us don't know about what Purim is, I'm going to read some definition through the Jewish Encyclopedia Scripture, and then through the Northern Kingdom's edition. The reason I say what's up, Elder Ayil, because man, Elder Ayil be playing some good music on this videos. The music don't belong to me, but this one song is stuck in my head right now. I might have to change a little bit. Is anybody out there? Anybody out there who want to hear the truth? I'm a Hebrew Israelite, and I'm real with this. There's a song in the World's Church that said, if I can remember what it was, maybe I may supposed to sing that one, but I'm going to try to see what it was. Oh, it was like this. If anybody asks, what's the matter with me? Tell them I'm saved, sanctified, Holy Ghost filled and water baptized. And the Most High Spirit said, I'm a part of the bride. I'm a part of the bride. I'm a part of the bride. But now, a song says, if anybody out there won't hear the truth, I'm a Hebrew Israelite. And then as I read more of the truth, I'm an American Israelite, from the house of Joseph and the tribe of Ephraim. And that's the truth. I'm an American Israelite, Hebrew Israelite. What's up, Elder Ayil? Thank you for that playing that song, man. That's a beautiful song. But let's get to the message. I'll read several versions of this, Esther 9 and 28, Amplified Bible. See, they tell us the King James Version, but once again, who told us that? Did God say you must read the King James Version? Or who told us that? I believe the Most High Creator said, read the true version, based on precept line by line, and whichever precepts correctly, use that one. Esther 9 and 28, Amplified Bible, AMP. So these days were to be remembered and celebrated throughout every generation, every family, every province, and every city. And these days of Purim would not to cease from among the Jews. Is anybody out there who want to hear the truth? I'm Hebrew Israelite. Nor their memory fade from their descendants, who are Israelites. Esther 9, 26 through 28. The Message, MSG. Therefore, because of everything written in this letter, because of all that they had been through, the Jews agreed to continue. Which Jews? The Hebrew Israelites. It became a tradition for them, their children, and all future converts to remember these 2 days every year on the specified date set down in the letter. Who? The Hebrew Israelites. Who also the converts. That's why he told me, go not, except for the lost sheep of the house of Israel, that they may be converted back into their natural tree of Sion. The little heirs, the little descendants. These days are to be remembered, and kept by every single generation, every last family, every province and city. These days of Purim must never be neglected among the Hebrew Israelites. We are the Jews. Hebrew Israelites. If anybody asks, what's the matter with me? Tell them, I'm an American Hebrew Israelite from the house of Joseph, tribe of Ephraim, because it's my heart. And it's also written in the book of the sealed portion. Chapter 12, verse 55. For it suffices me to say, they were descendants of Joseph, Hebrew Israelites. These days of Purim must never be neglected among the Hebrew Israelites. The memory of them must never die out amongst their descendants. Esther 9:28 King James Version. That these days should be remembered and kept throughout every generation, every family, every province, every city. And that these days of Purim should not fail from among the Hebrew Israelites, the Jews. The Negro. The copper colored people. The Aboriginal indigenous people. The innocent people. Noted by the Roman Catholic pro-pride attorney for the innocent. A sovereign entity, which includes the states of the Union, can operate with impunity in all jurisdictions of the law, in all realms and venues, because we're the Hebrew Israelites. Israelites. And that's what Purim is all about. Esther 9:28. And that these days should be remembered and kept throughout every generation, every family, every province, and every city. That these days of Purim should not fail from among the Hebrew Israelites. Because we are the Jews. We are the Jews. We are the Jews. Hebrew Israelites. Nor the memorial of them perish from their seed. We don't need permission from the queen, who's no more. We don't need a franchise from the Pope and the Rothschilds, because they're no more. Even the agent of one or more sovereign entities can operate with sovereign immunity in all jurisdictions because of Purim. Because we are the Jews. We are the Jews. We are the Jews. Hebrew Israelites. Even the agent of one or more sovereign entities can operate with sovereign immunity in all jurisdictions of the law and all realms and venues. Since it's here, I'm going to read it. Daniel 7:22, Amplified Bible. Until the Ancient of Days came, Michael, the archangel, or Adam, and judgment was passed in favor of the saints of the Most High God. Because we are the Jews. We are the Jews. We are the Jews. Hebrew Israelites. And the time arrived when the saints believers, who are the natural bloodline of the Messiah, took possession of the kingdom. We Hebrew Israelites. The end of 40 years of European meddling and predation in America by the Roman Catholic Pope's private attorney, which spoke for the Roman Catholic Pope at that time. The Constitution for the United States of America was saved, and a new foundation begun. The Native Americans, who are truly the Israelites, are now free to come home to the land that they were removed from. No longer POWs. They have regained their sovereignty as free, sovereign, independent people living on the land. The United States of America, that's mentioned in the sealed portion of chapter 81, verse 41, who calls this Eden, unincorporated. And the free, sovereign, independent people living on the land of the organic states have regained. What that mean when you regain something? That means you inhabit it first. Have regained their sovereignty in the international jurisdictions of the sea all over the world. Why? That's why we rejoice in the days of Purim. Because we're Hebrew Israelites. We are the Jews. We are the Jews. We are the Jews. Israelites. For the first time since 1789, Americans Israelites are in full control of both their natural land and sea jurisdictions. We are finally whole. That's why the Roman Catholic Pope and their powers had to confess by necessity, do not follow any orders to harm American Israelites. Those who do will be tried for war crimes and face the death penalty, like the Nazis at Nuremberg. This is what Purim is all about. The freedom of the Israelites. Is anybody out there? Anybody out there who want to hear the truth? Another confession. 950 trillion owed to you and me. Who? The Hebrew Israelites. By the Roman Catholic Pope Proud Attorney. As we reported some months ago, Prince Philip absconded with 950 trillion USD by making false claims to receive assets that actually belongs to the Hebrew Israelites. Belongs to Canada and Americans. Then retired into private life in an attempt to consolidate his hold on the ill-gotten and unjust enrichment. Is anybody out there? Anybody out there who want to hear the truth? We the Hebrew Israelites. Doctrine and Covenants, the book of the presidents of the church. Menu. Section 116, ordination of the people of color, who are the Israelites. Date given May 4th, 1865. They canonized September 13th, 1878. That I abridged through the truth. Being a Hebrew Israelite, is anybody out there? Anybody out there who want to hear the truth? We the Israelites. Hey, hearken, you elders of my church. I am he who called you friends. The sealed portion, chapter 35, verse 35, the prophets. The Melchizedek priesthood. We the Hebrew Israelites. All the rest of the world is going to be enslaved. Sealed portion, chapter 4, or sealed book of Mormon, chapter 4, verse 53, except in Zion. The Hebrew Israelites. When my only begotten will have coated his elect with of power from on high. to overcome the forces of the enemy and to rescue those who are loyal to me, the Hebrew Israelites. Through the truth. For the truth shall make my people free. Still, Book of Moses, chapter 3, verse 82. Therefore, the priesthood presidency of the Son of God belongs rightfully to the literal descendants of the chosen seed who are Israelites. To whom the covenant promises have been and will be made. In the same order that has always existed, will exist until the end of the world. For Adam, the president of the high priesthood of his day, spread the gospel with Seth and came to confer priesthood on Enos, the son of Seth, when he was 134 years old. Section A of Section 116, ordination of people of color, the doctrines and covenants. Hearken, you elders of my church. I am he who has called you friends concerning the matter you have asked of me. B, lo, it is my will, our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done. B, lo, it is my will that my gospel shall be preached to all nations in every land, and that men of every tongue shall minister before me. Therefore, it is expedient in me that you ordain priests unto me of the Hebrew Israelite race. Israelites, who receive the teachings of my law and become heirs according to the promise. That's why I bridged it according to the truth, by the power invested in me. Paul's anguish of Israel. I have a voice in my spirit telling me if I was to speak the voice that really speaking, you would be afraid. Paul's anguish over Israel. I speak the truth in the Messiah. I'm not lying. My conscience affirmed it through the Holy Spirit. I have great sorrow and ceasing anguish in my heart. For I can wish that I myself were accursed and cut from the Messiah, for the sake of my people. Who are the Israelites? Those of my own race. The people of Israel. There's the adoption of sonship. There's divine glory. The covenants. The receiving of the law. The temple worship, and the promises. Theirs are the patriarchs, and from them is traced the ancestry of the man they call the Messiah, who in heaven name is Yahweh, who is God over all, forever praised. Amen. Scion is a noun. Century 1300, scion, a shoot or a twig, especially one for grafting into their own tree. Who are Israelites? Scion, S-I-O-N, C-I-O-N, descendant, shoot, twig, offspring. The meaning of heir, child, and descendant. Section 116, ordination of people of color. The doctrine and covenants. B. Lo, it is my will that my gospel should be preached to all nations in every land, and that men of every tongue shall minister before me. Amos 2:11. And I raised up your sons for prophets, and of your young men for Nazarites. Is it not even thus, O you children of Israel, says Yahweh? Matthew 13:17. For verily I say unto you, that many prophets and righteous men have desired to see those things which you see, and have not seen them. And hear those things, pray that you hear, and I've heard them. Is anyone out there, anybody out there, who want to hear the truth? We are the Jews. We are the Jews. We are the Jews. The Hebrew Israelites. Israelites. Praise Most High. See, therefore it is expedient in me that you ordain priests unto me of the race of the Israelites, who receive the teachings of my law and become heirs, scion, according to the promise. Romans 9:1-5. Be ye very careful, for many elders have been ordained unto me, and are come under my condemnation. Why? Because they neglect to lift up their voices in my cause, my will. And for such there is tribulation and anguish. Happily they themselves may be saved if doing no evil, though their glory which is given to their works be withheld. In other words, their works are burned. Meaning you go by you go on and you teach the word of God according to your own purposes, your own motives. That's not going to last. It's not going to stand. For the Most High's word cannot return void at what he sent out to do. And that's why we were enjoying Purim. Esther 9:28. And that these days should be remembered and kept throughout every generation, every family, every province, and every city. And that these days of Purim should not fail from among the Jews who are Israelites, nor the memorial of them perish from their seed. B. Happily them themselves may be saved if doing no evil, though their glory which is given for their works be withheld. In other words, their works are burned, not being profitable unto me. That was 2B. 3A. Loosen you one another's hands and uphold one another, that you are of the quorum of 12, may all labor in the vineyard. That's his word. For upon you rests much responsibility. 3B. And if you labor diligently, the time is soon when others shall be added to your number, to the quorum be full, even 12. 4. A. Be not hasty in ordaining men of the Negro race who are Israelites. We are the Jews. We are the Jews. We are the Jews. Hebrew Israelites. Israelites. To the office in my church. Verily I say unto you. B. All are not acceptable unto me as servants, meaning high priests, angels of the churches. Nevertheless, I will that all may be saved, but every man in his own order. We are the Israelites. 1 Corinthians 12:28. And God set some in the church, first apostles, secondly prophets, thirdly teachers, after that miracles, then gifts of healing, helps, governments, diversity of tongues. We are the Israelites. For A. Be not hasty in ordaining men of the Negro race, who are the Israelites, to offices in my church. But verily I say unto you, B. 4B. All are not acceptable unto me as servants. Nevertheless, I will that all may be saved, but every man in his own order. And there are some who are chosen instruments to be ministers to their own race. That's all of us. Be ye content. I, Yahweh, have spoken it. Thus we have Purim. Because we are the Israelites. Esther 9 and 28, American Standard Bible, NSB 195. So these days were to be remembered and celebrated throughout every generation, every family, every province, and every city. And these days of Purim were not to fail from among the Jews who are the Hebrew Israelites, or their memory fade from their descendants. That's what the Most High told us. He blesses us both temporally and spiritually. That's called being whole. You can't be blessed in the spirit without being blessed in the natural. That's why we have Purim. That's why they told you we all trillionaires several times over, not counting their injuries they caused us. Isaiah 60, 10 through 14. Foreigners will rebuild your wall. Though in anger I struck you, in favor I will show you compassion. Your gates will always stand open. They will never be shut. They are not. So that the people may bring you the wealth of the nations, their kings led in triumphal procession. For the nation or kingdom that would not serve you will perish. It'll be utterly ruined. The glory of Lebanon will come to you. The juniper, the fir, and the cypress together to adorn my sanctuary. And I will glorify the place for my feet. The children of your oppressors will come bowing before you. All who despise you will bow down at your feet. And I will call you the city of Yahweh, the Scion of the Holy One of Israel. Is anybody out there? Anybody out there who want to hear the truth? We are the Jews. We are the Jews. We are the Jews. We the Hebrew Israelites. Israelites. And I'm an American Israelite. From the land of my forefather Adam. That was created upon it. And I'm from the house of Joseph. The tribe of Ephraim. Because I'm an Israelite. Let's go to the Jewish Encyclopedia. Look up the word Purim. Of course, all things, I ain't really read it all the way through, so all things have to agree with God said. So I'm going to read their definition first. And then I'm going to go to the book of Esther to read God's definition, his word. Purim by Kaufman Kohler, Henry Malter. Jewish feast celebrated annually on the 14th, and in Shushan, Persia, also on the 15th of Adar, in commemoration of the deliverance of the Persian Jews from the plot of Haman to exterminate them, as recorded in the book of Esther. Remember, he told you, these are the Negroes. He said he wanted his word preached in every realm, city, state, providence, everywhere. Is anybody out there? Anybody out there who want to hear the truth? We are the Jews. We are the Jews. We are the Jews. Hebrew Israelites. Israelites. In commemoration of the deliverance of the Persian Jews from the plot of Haman to exterminate them. Genocide. As recorded in the book of Esther. According to that book, the feast was instituted as a national one by Mordashiel and Esther. For a critical view of Purim, see Esther, and we're going to see Esther. In the present article are treated only the various features of the feast as developed after the institution. Non-religious character. Aside from much mooted question whether Purim is of Jewish or heathen origin, it is certain that, as it appears in the book of Esther, the festival is altogether devoid of religious spirit. And an anomaly in Jewish religion history. This is due to the worldly spirit of the book of Esther. The only religious allusions there are the mention of fasting in 4:16 and 9:31. And perhaps the expression of the confidence in the deliverance of Israel in 4:14. This secular character has, on the whole, been most prominent in this festival at all times, like Hanukkah. It has never been universally considered as a religion holy day, in spite of the fact that it is designed in the term of Yom Tov, Esther 4:19 and 22. According to business transactions, and even manual labor are allowed on Purim. Although in certain places, restrictions have been imposed on work. Shulchan Aruch Orah Hayam 696. Nevertheless, Purim has been in high esteem at all times and in all countries. Some even maintaining that when all the prophetical and hagiographical works shall be forgotten, the book of Esther will still be remembered. And accordingly, the Feast of Purim will continue to be observed. Yer Meg I 5a, Memonides Yad, Megala Ile, Megala 3:18. Comp Shut, Judish Merkawelega 10, 2 and 3:11. It is also claimed that Purim is as great as the day on which the Torah was given to on Sinai. Mordecai on BMIX in Comp Lamprati Bahad Yitzhak SV Purim. In Italy, the Jews, it seems to have even used the word Purim as a family name, which also proves the high esteem that the festival enjoys among them. Augustine and Rigar, Gesh Dar, Juden in Rome, 2:420, but Comp Stinseniter in Manuscript 1903, page 175. The book of Esther does not prescribe any religious service for Purim. It enjoins only the annual celebration of the feast among the Jews, who are the Israelites, on the 14th and 15th of Adar, commanding that they should make them days of feasting and joy, and of sending portions one to another, and gifts to the poor. It seems, therefore, that the observance of Purim was at first merely a convivial and social nature. Gradually, it assumes religious features. See, this is for the family of Israel, not for the religious church. The first religious ceremony ordained for the celebration of Purim is the reading of the book of Esther in the synagogue. A regulation described in the Talmud, made 2a, to the men of the great synod, of which Mordecai is reported to have been a member. Originally, this enacted was for the 14th of Adar only. Later, however, R. Joshua B. Levi, 3rd century, prescribed that Megillah should be read on the eve of Purim also. Further, he obliged women to attend the reading of the Megillah, inasmuch as it was a woman, Queen Esther, through whom the miraculous deliverance of the Jews, who are the Israelites, was accomplished. Meg 4a, see, however, Yer Meg the second 5, where this law is reported in the name of Bar Kapara, Comp REJ 17 and 42. In the Mishnah, there's a difference of opinion as to how much of Megillah one must read in order to discharge one's duty. According to R. Judah, the portion from 2:5 to the end suffices. Others considered the portion from 3:1 or even 4:1 to the end sufficient. While R. Amir demanded the reading of the entire scroll, and his view was accepted in the Talmud, Meg 19a. See, we don't adhere to a Jewish script, because we the Israelites and we sovereign. Everything we get, we come from the Most High, which makes it valid, including the money. And they confess it by necessity. In some congregations, it was customary to read the first portion of the Megillah, I-4 or I-6, at the outgoing of the first Sabbath in Adar, and the rest on the outgoing of the second Sabbath of that month. In other places, the whole Megillah was read on the outgoing of the second Sabbath, Purim, 14 and 18. In some places, it was read on the 15th of Adar also, IB, 21:8, for example, at Tyre. Zans Ritus, page 56. According to the Mishnah, the villagers were permitted, for the sake of convenience, to read the Megillah on the Monday or Thursday of the Purim week, which days they came to the town for divine service. Purim players from Lusden, Philagas, Hebrio Mixtus, 1657. In the Mishnah, the recitation of a benediction either before or after the reading of the Megillah is not yet a universally recognized obligation. The Talmud, however, prescribed 3 benedictions before and 1 after the reading. Comp Meg 21b, Your Meg 4:1, Mesket, Sopharim, trying to remember these Roman numerals. 9, 5, and 6. Where the formulas were for closing benediction differ. Comp also Shalhan, Arak, Ora, Hayim, 692:1. The Talmud added other provisions also in connection with the reading of the Megillah. For example, the reader was pronounced the name of the 10 sons of Haman, Esther 4, 7 through 10. In one breath, to indicate their simultaneous death. Meg 16b, Ora Hayim, 690:15. The congregation was to recite aloud with the reader the verses 2 and 5, 8, 15 and 16, and 10 and 3, which relate the origin of the Mordecai and his triumph. Abdoram, Ed, Amsterdam, 1726, page 76. Orahayim, LC. This rule of the geonic origin, see Bruck, Pharisac, Volksitten, page 158. Sadai, Gaon, demanded that only the first 2 verses of the 4 mentioned above be read aloud. This was the custom in Spain. Abduram, LC. Hammond clothers used in Purim feasts by Jewish children of Russia from Globus. The Megillah, how read? The Megillah is read with a traditional chant different from that used in the reading of the periscopes of the Pentateuch. In some places, however, it is not chanted. but it's read like a letter because the name of Igorot epistle, which is applied. Esther 4, 26 and 29. So let me go to Esther 4. Not now, but I'm going to make it prepare. Well, I might as well read it. Now it's all forget. What was it? 4, 26 and 29. Well, they didn't give it all in the Northern Kingdom edition. Maybe they tried to hold that out because the Edomites be doing stuff like that. Let me go to another one. Let's see. Not in Mark. Esther. Or maybe we see because they're not letting that pop up. Esther. What's IX in Roman numerals? Wouldn't that be 4? Well, let's continue. However, it is not chanted, but it is read like a letter because the name of Igorot, meaning epistle, which is applied Esther 4, 26 and 29. So the book of Esther, comp. Know what that might be? It might be in the King James edition that got the apocrypha in it. The 4, was it? Is it 1911? Not 1911, but what edition is that? But you know what I'm talking about. Comp Judah, Ayash, Bet Yehuda, number 23, Leghorn, 1747. Was it? I think it's 1611. For the same reason, it has been also customary since the time of the Goanin to enroll the whole Megillah before reading it, in order to give its appearance an epistle, Ora Hayim, 690, 17, Comp Bruck, LC, page 159. Finally, it is to be mentioned that the Megillah may be read in any language intelligible to the audience. Now, that's the truth what they told right there. That's why the Most High gave us etymology. And that's why they told you they put the Messiah's name in those different languages. The Most High said he's going to talk to you with a different tongue. But everybody want to be smart. Always say, well, you got to know the Hebrew. You got to know this. Well, that's why the other tongues broke it down in etymology to tell you what he means. But still got to precept the word because the Edomites have always tried to be tricky with the words. In Hebrew, also in Greek, it may be read even when not understood. Meg 18a, Ora Hayim. 690, 8 through 12. See, however, Sepharim 21 and 8. Where it is said that all Israel is in duty bound to read the Megillah in Hebrew. In Saragossa, the Megillah was read in Spanish, a practice against which Isaac ben Sheshat, Responsa Nos 388 to 391, and in Nissim, Garandi protested. See Gratz, Gesh, 8 and 35, Abraham's Jewish life in the Middle Ages. Pages 345, etc. say. Steinsnyder, or Stensnyder, in Matzah script, 1903, page 178. Talking during the public recitation was prohibited. Ora Hayim, 692 and 2. According to the Mishnah, Meg 30b, in addition to the Megillah, X 17, 8 through 16. The story of the attack on the Jews by Amalek. Remember what Amalek did to you? The progenitor of Haman, is to be read. See, he's telling you who is still up against us at this time right now, even though the kingdom is over. And Haman was the one who tried to exterminate the Jews at that time. That's why we have in Purim. And he's a descendant of Amalek, the giants. The one our ancestor Joshua went to spy out the land. And the Most High said, don't marry them. Purim gave rise to many religious compositions, some of which were incorporated into the liturgy for the large number of hymns intended for the public service, as well as other writings, dramas, plays, etc., movies. Intended for general edification. That's why he tell you the truth in movies. Or they lie in them too, putting their images in them. And twisting the storyline in their favor. Both in Hebrew and other languages. See the exhaustive study by M. Snyder, or Steinsener, Steven Spielberg, no, M. descendants, Purim, on parity. In Matson script, XLVI and XLVIII. Indexed, especially XLVI, 279, etc. Sequence, 372 et seq. For Quranic rights, see IB pages 373, etc. Sequence. Social customs. As pointed out above, the book of Esther prescribed the sending of portions one to another and gifts to the poor. This became, in the course of time, one of the most prominent features of the celebration of Purim. Jews sent gifts of food, especially dainties, to one another. And the poor were made recipients of charity in the synagogue. 2, but guess what? Those Israelis only did that for themselves. That's why they were looking out for themselves right now. But they're not the true Jews. Because we are the Jews. We are the Jews. We are the Jews. Anybody confessions, right? Confessions, right? The Negroes, who the Most High called the Jews. We the Israelites. Israelites. That's why they kicked us out their synagogues. According to their customs, hating people with dark skin. Dark skin. In the synagogue, 2 regular collections were made on the festival, and the money so procured was distributed among the needy. No distinction was to be made among the poor. Anyone who was willing to accept, even a non-Jew, was to be allowed to participate on Hayam 694. It was obligatory upon the poorest Jew, even on the one who was himself dependent on charity, to give to the poor, other poor. At least to 2, IB. In some congregations, it is customary to place a box, kappa, in the vestibule of the synagogue, unto which everyone may put half of the unit coin, mayazitz, hash shekel, of the country corresponding to the half shekel, which that's why the Most High told you to steal a portion. He don't care how much money you got, as long as you got it in good game. You do nothing strange to get it from Satan. And then he said, you're not required to give all you have, this a crumb off your table, unless you be poor like the others. At least 2, IB. In some congregations, it is customary to place a box, kappa, Kuppah, in the vestibule of the synagogue, in which everyone may put the half of the unit coin, mahazit, haz shekel, of the country, corresponding to the half shekel, which had been given to the temple in Adar, IB. The general provision for everyone to give 3 halves, but some give according to the number of persons in the family. Comp Jahil Epstein, Kizar Shin Luhat, Haberet, page 105b, Amsterdam, 1701. The amount of money thus distributed on Purim by wealthy members of the community often reached very large sums. See Stationery, LC, XLVI, 180, etc. sequence. Dedication of works appear among the various forms of Purim presence. IB, XLV2, of XLVII, 174, etc. sequence Nos 5, 7, and 19. Purim players at Prague, early 18th century, from a contemporary drawing. Feasting. The national rather than the religious character of the festival. And that's why he called us back to our nationalism, our nation, not religious. If anybody out there want to hear the truth, with American Israelites in this nation. But as a collective, with Hebrew Israelites all over the world. The national rather than the religious character, and that's why the lie of the end of days has been that they make you one nation of everybody under Satan. But if anybody out there want to know the truth, we are the Jews, the ones they call Negroes, with Hebrew Israelites, feasting. The national rather than the religious character of the festival made it appear appropriate to celebrate occasion by feasting. Hence, it was the rule to have at least one festival meal called Sadat Purim towards the evening of the 14th. Meg 7b, Aura, Hayim, 695-1. In this connection, it may be mentioned that for the celebration of Purim, there developed among the Jews a special kind of baking. Cakes were shaped into certain forms, were given names having some symbolic bearing of the historical events of Purim. Thus, the Jews of Germany eat Hamantasken and Haman Norin. In Italy, Orecchi di Aman. So you also got to have recognition. You have to have the spirit to know that a lot of times they change our stuff to give their meaning. But they take the true meaning from us. And they put their own images in it. First Maccabees 3:48 through 58. And laid open the book of the law, wherein the heathenists sought to paint the likeness of their images. They brought also the priest's garments, and the first fruits, and the tithes, and the Nazarites they stirred up, who had accomplished their days. See, these people are devils, man. Anytime the truth comes out, they send their witchcraft. They ain't got no power over me. Because as soon as I start telling this truth, which is the truth of the word, they send their flies and their gnats. That's what the Most High gonna kill you. He says, he will not let suffer a witch to live. And he gonna put witchcraft and sorcery out of our land. They brought also the priest's garments, so they pretended to be us. And the first fruits, who are us? Who are Israelites? And the tithes. And the Nazarites, they stirred up, who had accomplished their days. You're not going back into captivity. That's why he stirred, the Most High allowed you to stir us up to bring out this truth when he woke us up. Because we the Hebrew Israelites. Then cried they with a loud voice towards heaven, saying, what shall we do with these, and whither shall we carry them away? For your sanctuary is trodden down and profaned. Your priests are in heaviness and brought low. And lo, the heathen are assembled together against us to destroy us. What things they imagine against us, you know it. What the Doctrine and Covenants told us that they thought to genocide us. That's what Purim is all about. That the Most High didn't allow them to. Now we sovereign. How should we be able to stand against them except you, O God, be our help? Then sounded they with trumpets and cried with a loud voice. And after this, Judah ordained captains over the people. Judas, not Iscariot. Even captains over thousands, over hundreds, and over 50s and over 10s. But as for such as were building houses, or had betrothed wives, or were planting vineyards, or were fearful, those he commanded that they should return, every man to his own house, according to the law. So the camp removed and pitched upon the south side of Emos. And Judah said, arm yourself and be valiant men. See that you be in readiness against the morning to defend yourself, according to the law. That you may fight with these nations that are assembled together against us to destroy us in our sanctuary. And the Most High is so mighty, he said, the weapon of warfare is not carnal, but mighty through pulling down the strongholds, paraphrasing through his word, destroying them with the brightness of his coming and the word of his mouth, this truth. That's what he also said. We support that Constitution, which is for the people. The Constitution of 49 States of America, which is for the Israelites. The one Adam gave to his posterity, which are the Israelites. Feasting. The national rather than the religious character of the festival made it appear appropriate to celebrate occasion by celebrate occasion by feasting. Let me try to get where I was at. The jovial character of the feast was forcibly illustrated in the saying of the Talmud. We don't follow the Talmud. Make 7b that one should drink on Purim until he can no longer distinguish cursed be Haman from blessed be Mordecai. So that's wickedness. Saying which was codified in the Shalom Ark IB. That's how they excuse themselves. They get so drunk they say we can't tell which one is blessed or cursed. To try to get that off their conscience. But which was later ingeniously explained as referring to the letters occurring in the sentences. And in each which the numerical value of the letters amounts to 502 comp Abdurham LC Lewin Gesh trying to catch while I raised up the page. Gesh der Juden and Lisa. Page 212, Pine, 1904. While the Jews have always been noted for abstemiousness in the use of intoxicants, drunkenness was licensed. And since they just admitted, they said they get so drunk that they can't tell the difference between cursed or blessed. And they just give you false doctrine. The most times you make yourself naked in your drunkenness. So to speak on Purim, to comply with the command which seemed to lie in the biblical term, mishta, drink, applied to Purim, Abdoram, LC. It is therefore not surprising that all kinds of merrymaking, often verging on frivolity, have been indulged in on Purim, so that among the masses, it has become almost a general rule that on Purim, everything is allowed. Comp Stischneider, LC, page 186, even transgression of a biblical law. Now, you know God didn't say that. That's what they termed the Talmud. So as the appearance of men and women's attire and vice versa. Eddie Murphy, all y'all come wear a dress. Hey, Dave Chappelle, I got this funny idea, man. It requires you to wear a dress. So we can make you forget about biblical law. Such as the appearance of men and women's attire, and vice versa. Hey, Prince, man, you really a cute, beautiful looking dude, man. But you know, with your stature and the way you look, man, we can put you in some women attire, man, and you gonna be real sexy looking. I'm not your woman. I'm not your man. I am something that you never understand. such as the appearance of men and women's attire, and vice versa, which is strictly prohibited in Deuteronomy 22, verse 5. This meant so far that if through exuberance of spirits a man inflicted damage on the property of another on Purim, he was not compelled to repair it. Or Hayam LC, and the references they're given. Masquerading. Observance of Purim in a German synagogue of the 18th century from Bodenschach's Kirklich, Verfsum, 1748. One of the strange species of merrymaking was the custom of masquerading, eyes wide shut. I watched that movie, but I couldn't really watch it all the way through, man. This don't interest me like that. But I was trying to watch it to get what they was telling me. So after I got what they was telling me, I just turned it off, man, because I couldn't really watch it like that. One of the strangest species of merrymaking was the custom of masquerading, which was first introduced among the Italian Jews about the close of the 15th century under the influence of the Roman carnival. Italy, this custom spread over all countries where the Jews lived, except perhaps the Orient. Thyseniter, LC, page 181, XLVII 469, number 9. The first among the Jewish authors to mention this custom is Judah Mintz, the 1508 at Venice. And the responsa, number 17, quoted by Israelis, Isserles on Ora Hayam, 696-8. He expresses the opinion that since the purpose of the masquerade is only merrymaking, the Most High told you that in the scriptures, what they was up to. If our only hope is only in this merrymaking, this world of Idumea, then we are men of what? How you go? Paraphrase. We are men most miserable. If you go by the Talmud, like these non-true Israelite people, you believe in their way, you mean most miserable. You might as well go on and marry, eat, drink, and be merry. Merrymaking. It should not be considered a transgression in the biblical law regarding dress. Hey, Dave Chappelle, Martin Lawrence. We got a new role for man. It's outstanding, man. It's so funny, man. I ain't gonna lie. Some of that stuff do be funny, but I wouldn't wear a dress. Particular Rasputia with Eddie Murphy. That's funny to me. It should not be considered a transgression of the biblical law regarding dress, according to them. So when I watch your movies, I'm laughing at you. I'm not laughing with you. Because it is funny. Some of it. Although some rigorous authorities issued prohibitions against this custom, Isaiah Horowitz, Shin Lahat Ha Barrett, 261B, Amsterdam, 1653. The people did not heed them. The more lenient view prevailed. Comp Israelites, now you know why they want you to wear a dress. To get you to break the commandments and to laugh at you in their masquerading of you. That's what the Most High said. We're going to masquerade their kings and run them and parade them up and down the streets. Like they did to me in 2017 when they took me to jail unwarranted. Had their deputies, once again, there's good deputies who come from the Most High. I'm talking about they wicked ones. Driving my car up and down the street with me in the backseat in my neighborhood. Masquerading a king. And I wasn't wearing no dress. And I still ain't lied to you. The more lenient view prevailed. Comp Israelites IC and Lepronti LC. The custom still obtains among the Orthodox Jews of the eastern part of Europe. Boys and girls walk from house to house and grotesque masks and indulge in all kinds of jollity. As a rule, they sing some comic doggerel, example, Hute in Purim. So they mocking even our day of Purim. Morgan as As, Gept Mur and Cruzor, Unroth, Michanas. See, why do you block out the screens and stuff like that when I read things and speak the truth? I ain't never said I was on your side. The Most High told you who I am. I'm that angel. When he asked the question, when Joshua asked the question. Are you on our side or on their side? No, nay. I'm on Yahweh's side. I'm on the side of the truth. And you know that's what I am. I'm a truth giver. This is a truth channel. If you want to hear the truth, don't come to this channel. Whether you turn, it don't matter whether you're black or white. Ooh. And they're often given a few coins. Comp, Dysonator, LC, XLVI. I think L mean 100, but I'm not sure. So I'm just going to say XLVI. 176 and 182. Songs. Purim songs have been introduced into the synagogue. For the children's sake, certain verses from the book of Esther have been sung in chorus on Purim. Abraham's LC, page 33. Boisterousness in the synagogue. Indeed, Purim was an occasion on which much joyous license was permitted even within the walls of the synagogue itself. As such may be reckoned the boisterous hissing, stamping, and rattling during the public service as the mention of Haman, or his sons, Haman and his sons, like, as well as the whistling at the mention of Mordecai by the reader of the Megillah. This practice traces its origin to French and German rabbis of the 13th century, who, in accordance with the passage of the Madrash, where the verse you shall blot out the remembrance of Amalek, Deuteronomy 25:19, it is explained to mean even from wood and stones. And what was the religion they gave you? The worship of wood and stones, Amalek's worship. The image of the European man, white supremacy. Introduced the custom of writing the name of Haman, the offspring of Amalek. Don't forget what Amalek did to you. I don't. On two smooth stones and knocking or rubbing them constantly until the name was blotted out ultimately. However, the stones fell into disuse. The knocking alone remained. Abudaram, LC, Bruck, LC. See, however, low left Psalter, page 297, also page 291, number 10. Some wrote the name Haman on the soles of their shoes, like Nike and all these other things on your shoe. But the Most High knows you don't have no shoes in your name, so you got to wear them basically. You don't have to wear Nike Jordan though; they cost $2,000 a pair. I got clowned the other day because I wear these. They call me old man shoe. The Athletics at Walmart. That's still a name brand, but I don't make shoes, so I got to wear something. But I like these. I ain't saying I'm not obligated to wear these. I can wear any shoes I want to wear. But for now, I'm wearing these. Athletics. I ain't promoting them. I'm just saying that's what I'm wearing right now. And they only cost about $16. Ultimately, however, the stones fell into disuse, the knocking alone remaining. Some wrote the name Haman on the soles of their shoes. And at the mention of the name, stepped their feet as a sign of contempt. Others used for the same purpose a rattle called Gregor, equals Polish Gregozars. And producing much noise. A custom which still observed by the Russo-Polish Jews. Some of the rabbis protested against these uproarious excesses, considered them a sinful disturbance of public worship. For example, Isaiah Horowitz, LC, pages 268, 261a below. But often in vain, see Bruck, LC, and Zunk's Aridus, page 69. Burning of Haman's effigy. Outside the synagogue, the pranks indulged in the Purim by both children and adults have been carried even to a greater extreme. Some of them date from the Talmudic period. See example, the Tale of Meg, 7b, San, 64b, and Rashi and Adlock, Comp, also Aruch, SV, and Abadorum, LC. As early as the 55th century, see Shucks, Shucked, LC, 2, 309. And especially in the Geonic period, 9th and 10th century, it was a custom to burn Haman in effigy on Purim. This is described in the Arnk, ARNK, LC, as follows. 4 or 5 days before Purim, the young men make an effigy of Haman, and hang it on the roof. On Purim itself, they make a bonfire in which they cast the effigy while they stand around joking and singing, at the same time holding a ring about the fire and waving, ring of fire, and waving it from side to side through the fire. See Ginsburg and JQR 16,650. Abadoram, LC, Bruck, LC. In Italy, the Jewish children used the reins of themselves in rows and pelt one another with nuts, while the adults rolled through the streets with fire branches in their hands, shouting, or blew trumpets around a dole representing Haman, which was finally burned with due solemnity at the stake. LC page 260, and especially Gudeman, Gesh page 211, Vienna, 1884. In Frankfurt on the Main, it was customary to make a house of wax, wherein the figures of Haman and his executioner, also of wax, were placed side by side. The whole was then put on the almamar, where stood also the wax figures of Zeresh, the wife of Haman, and 2 guards, one to her right and one to her left, all attired in a flimsy manner, with pipes in their mouths. As soon as the reader began to read the Megillah, the house with its occupants was set on fire to the enjoyment of the spectators. Comp Shuck. As soon as I read that, I'm talking about the true scripture says, the house of Jacob should be a fire, the house of Ephraim a flame, and the house of Esau, who is the descendants of Haman, you know the rest. As soon as the reader began to read the Megillah, the house with its occupants was set on fire to the enjoyment of the spectators. He said, I'm going to do unto you like you did unto my children. Your spectators was joyous when you slammed our children against the rocks, hung our ancestors on the tree, set our people on fire. And that's what we're talking about Purim today. As soon as the reader began to read the Megillah, the house with its occupants was set on fire to the enjoyment of the spectators. House of Jacob should be a fire, house of Ephraim for a flame, and house of Esau for stubble. Comp Schultz, LC 2, 309, Escasel, Juden, and Ursch and Gruber, Encyclopedia, Section 2, Part 27, page 78, etc. sequences. It must be mentioned here that these customs often aroused the wrath of Christians who interpreted them as disguised attempts to ridicule Jesus and the cross, issued prohibitions against them. Example, under the reign of Honorius, 395 and 423, and of Theodosius II, 408 and 50, Comp Schultz, LC 2, 309, 317, and Castle, LC. Moreover, the rabbis themselves, to avoid danger, tried to abolish the obnoxious customs, often even calling the magistracy, or calling the magistracy to their aid, as in London in 1783, see Muhammad. Fasting before and after Purim. Finally, it must be stated that the fast of Esther, celebrated before Purim on the 13th of Adar, is not an original part of the latter, nor was it later instituted in the commemoration of the fasting of Esther. Well, since Elder Ayil say he fasting the day, he's saying the day is Purim, and I'm talking about Purim today. Well, I qualified, even though they poisoned me, I still fasted. It threw up everything impure. Finally, it must be stated that the fast of Esther, celebrated before Purim on the 13th of Adar, is not an original part of the latter, nor was it later instituted in commemoration of fasting for Esther, Mordecai, and the people. Hastings Dictionary Bible, I 854, column 2, since this fasting fell, according to the rabbinical tradition, in the month of Nisan and lasted 3 days. And I did fast for 3 days. The first who mentions it is R. Aha al-Shabah, 8th century. And Shealat 4. And the reason they were given for its institution is based on the arbitrary interpretation of Esther 4 and 18, and Meg 2 and 8. Meg sound like as they say, their Bible. We don't go by that, not the Israelites. The 13th was the time of gathering, which gathering is explained to had also the purpose of public prayer and fasting. Comp Ashery on Meg. I beginning Abduram, LC, page 94. Brook, LC, page 56, etc. Sequence. And Berliner of Kaufman. See, because they Bible say that our true Messiah was thrown in dung and burnt in excrement. In their Talmud. Some, however, use the fast 3 days in the commemoration of the fasting of Esther. But as fasting was prohibited during the month of Nisan, see Sufferum 21 and 2. The first and second Mondays and the Thursdays following Purim were chosen. IBX, what's that? 17:4, 11:1, Ora Hayim 68:6, 686:3. The fast on the 13th is still commonly observed. When the date falls on a Sabbath, the fast is put back to Thursday, Friday, being needed to prepare for the Sabbath and the following Purim festival. Abduram, LC, page 94b, Ora Hayim 686. Purim Katan. In leap years, Purim is celebrated in the second Adar. Didn't we just read something about this leap year that was on this 29th? About us celebrating our first parents' Purim coming back into America. Adam and Eve. That's quite ironic, isn't it? "29 days. 2024 is one of those years, making this year a leap year. Where in addition to February 29th having 29 days, the year itself has a total of 366 days. The event normally occurs once every 4 years. Many people aren't aware of what exactly the extra day does aside from making the year longer. Well, right now we read about Purim. Katan. In leap years, Purim is celebrated in the second Adar, but by the Kairites in the first. The respective days of the first Adar being called Purim Katan, Little Purim, for which there have been set forth certain observances similar to those for Purim proper, with the exception of reading the Megillah, and we ain't reading the Megillah, sending gifts to the poor, and fasting on the 13th of the month. The distinction between the first and the second Purim in leap year are mentioned in the Mishnah, Meg 1:46b, Comp Aura Hayim 697. We ain't taking your advice about nothing. You devils. You telling people put on dresses and do whatever they want to do with it. We definitely need to listen to you. Let's go to the book of Esther, Northern Kingdom edition. That's why I told you, when it comes to Sabbath, the wicked establish Sabbath by the month, or by the moon. He said the righteous go by the sun. When the sun comes up. Even Yahweh observed the Sabbath on the sun, when the sun came up. On the 7th day of the week. Esther, chapter 9, Northern Kingdom edition, the header reads, "The Jews slay their enemies, including Haman's 10 sons. The Feast of Purim is instituted to commemorate the deliverance and victory. If anybody out there want to know the truth, we are the Jews. We are the Jews. We are the Jews, Hebrew Israelites. Verse 1. Now in the 12th month, that is the month of Adar, on the 13th day of the same, when the king's commandment and his decree drew near to put into execution, in the day that the enemies of the Jews hoped to have power over them, though it was turned to the contrary, the Jews had ruled over them that hated them. Hebrew Israelites. Esther 3, 12 through 13. Then were the king's scribes called on the 13th day of the first month, and there was written according to all that Haman had commanded unto the kings and lieutenants. Now we know the first month is actually April, as they call it. So on the 13th day of April of 2024. In our day, but this is back in Haman's day. Then were the kings of scribes called on the 13th day of the first month, and it was written according to all that Haman had commanded unto the king's lieutenants, and to the governors that were over every province, into the rule of every people, of every province, according to the writings thereof. To every people after their language, in the name of King Ahasuerus was it written. And sealed with the king's ring. Kiss the Pope's ring, they said. And the letters were sent by post unto all the king's provinces, to destroy, to kill, and to cause to perish all Jews. But what did this Roman Catholic Pope say about necessity? Do not harm any American Israelite. If you do, you're going to the death penalty, like the Nazis at Nuremberg. But at that time, the letters were sent by post unto all the king's province, to destroy, to kill, and to cause to perish all of the Hebrew Israelites, the Jews, both young and old, little children and women, in one day, even upon the 13th day of the 12th month, which is the month of Adar, to take the spoil of them for prey. Now do you not see why the Most High say we're going to take your spoil for prey? And you're going to bring it. That's why you admitted we trillionaires several times over already. But you ain't calculated all the injury you caused. But they have. That's why they gave us the treasury. Most High said, that's my money. For the wicked have stored up wealth for the righteous. Verse 1. Now in the 12th month, that is the month of Adar, on the 13th day of the same, when the king's commandment and his decree drew near to put into execution, in the day that the enemies of the Jews hoped to have power over them, though it was turned to the contrary, the Jews had rule over them that hated them. They go right in line with Ezekiel chapter 35. Since you had a ancient hatred for my people, the Israelites. The Jews gathered themselves together in their cities, brought all the provinces of King Ahasuerus, to lay hand on such as sought to hurt their hurt. Esther 8 and 11. When the king granted the Jews which were in every city to gather themselves together and to stand for their life, to destroy, to slay, and to cause to perish all the power of the people and prophets that would assault them. Who did that? The Roman Catholic Pope. That's what the Most High tells you. I don't send you on the offense. But if anybody try to hurt you, you or your family, tell them in my name not to do it. If they do, then I put them in your hands. And the Roman Catholic Pope ain't gonna do nothing about it. Why? Because he already told them, don't touch you. People always gonna cry. Well, let's follow the laws of the land then. Let's make ourselves subject to the powers that be. We are the powers that be. Because we are the Israelites. And we sovereign. Even your king told you don't touch us. Esther 8 and 11. When the king granted the Jews, who are the Israelites, which were in every city, to gather themselves together and to stand for their life, to destroy, to slay, and to cause to perish all the power of the people and prophets that would assault them, both little ones and women. They take to spoil them for a prey. And no man could withstand them. For the fear of them fell upon all people. Esther 8 and 17. And in every province, in every city, wheresoever the king's commandment and his decree came, the Jews had joy and gladness, and a feast and a good day. Today was a good day. And many of the people of the land became Jews, who are the Israelites. For the fear of the Jews fell upon them. And all the rulers of the provinces, and the lieutenants, the deputies, officers of the king helped the Jews, who are the Israelites, because the fear of Mordecai fell upon them. And Mordecai was great in the king's house, and his fame went out throughout all the provinces. For this man Mordecai waxed greater and greater. Thus the Jews smote all their enemies with the stroke of the sword, and slaughter, and destruction. This is the prophecy of the Most High said, if you don't do what the Most High tell you to do, he gonna wake up Judah. And they're gonna go through as a lion amongst the prey. Who are the Israelites? The brother New Breed say, here come Judah. and did what they would unto those who hated them. And they said they're going to sell your children into distant lands. And in Shushan, the palace, the Jews slew and destroyed 500 men. And Pasidah, and Dalphon, and Aspa, and Partha, and Adalia, and Ariatha, and Parmesiata, and Arisha, and Aradia, and Vayashata, the 10 sons of Haman, the son of Hammeatha, the enemy of the Jews, slew they, but on the spoil laid they not their hand. Why? They gonna bring in the spoil. And that day, the number of those that were slain in Shushan, the palace was brought before the king. And the king said unto Esther the queen, the Jews have slain and destroyed 500 men of Shushan the palace, and 10 sons of Haman. What have you done in the rest of the king's provinces? Now, what is your petition? Esther 72. And the king said again unto Esther on the second day of the banquet of wine, what is your petition, Queen Esther? And it shall be granted you. What is your request? And it shall be performed even to the half of the kingdom. Who is the queen representing? The bride of the Messiah. And it shall be granted you. Or what is your request further? And it shall be done. Then said Esther, if it please the king, let it be granted to the Jews which are in Shushan to do tomorrow, also according to this day decree. Let Haman's 10 sons be hanged upon the gallows. And the king commanded it so be done. And the decree was given at Shushan. They hang Haman's 10 sons, who are the descendants of Amalek. I remember what Amalek did to me. They tried to poison me recently, among the other attempts. Told you. Fire coming. For the Jews that were in Shushan gathered themselves together on the 14th day also of the month of Adar, and slew 300 men at Shushan, but on the prey laid they not their hand. But the other Jews that were in the king's provinces gathered themselves together. So right now, though, we're not relying on no king. We are the kings. And our Heavenly Father is the King of Kings. That's why they told you the innocent ones are sovereign in every jurisdiction in Providence and everywhere else. And we don't need no permission from no king. They said that by necessity. I read it to you. But they already gave a decree again for their people, don't touch us. The other Jews that were in the king's provinces gathered themselves together and stood for their lives. They rest from their enemies. Now, that's what it means having rest from your enemies. Most High promise he's going to kill you. And some of y'all don't believe. But ain't nothing new under the sun. And slew their foes 70 and 5,000. But they laid not their hands on the prey. On the 13th day of the month of Adar, and on the 14th day of the same rested they, made a day of feasting and gladness. And this is what Purim is all about. And he already gave you a sign. He said it's doing a leap year. Y'all better stop playing. But the Jews that were at Shushan assembled together on the 13th day thereof, on the 14th thereof. And on the 15th day, the same, they rested and made it a day of feasting and gladness. Rejoice, you have, and you that dwell therein, for the devil has come down to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea with wrath, knowing he has a short time. Therefore, the Jews of the villages that dwelt in the unwalled towns made the 14th day of the month Adar a day of gladness and feasting, and a good day. The sending portions one to another. Esther 8 and 17. In every province, in every city, whithersoever the king's commandments and his decree came, the Jews had joy and gladness, a feast and a good day. And today was a good day. Many of the people of the land became Jews. How? I've come not except to the lost sheep of the house of Israel, to convert them back to their own tree. If anybody out there want to know the truth, we are the Jews. We are the Jews. We are the Jews. Hebrew Israelites. For the fear of the Jews fell upon all of them, sending portions one to another. Nehemiah 8 and 10 and 12. Then he said unto them, go your way, eat the fat, and drink the sweet, and send portions unto them of whom nothing is prepared. For this day is holy unto our Yahweh, our King and Redeemer. Neither be you sorry, for the joy of Yahweh is your strength. And all the people went their way to eat and to drink, and to send portions, and to make great mirth, because they had understood the words that were declared unto them. And Mordecai wrote these things. He sent letters unto all the Jews that were in the provinces of the king Ahasuerus, both nigh and far, to establish this among them, that they should keep the 14th day of the month of Adar, and the 15th day of the same year, same yearly. about to print that. After 9:22, as the days were in, the Jews rested from their enemies. In the month which was turned into them from sorrow to joy, and from mourning unto a good day. That they should make them days of feasting and joy, and sending portions one to another, and gifts to the poor. And the Jews understood to do as they had begun, as Mordecai had written unto them. Can you not see? The Most High has made your king, who is that Roman Catholic Pope, in dumb diverses, in doctrine discovery through that office, and by necessity had to be agreement with the word of God. Therefore, we in good faith, we're in good standing with both God and man. It is good, it is the Most High's good pleasure to give us the kingdom. Because they already gave it to us by necessity. Their time is up. Because Haman, the son of Hammedatha, the Agagite, the enemy of all the Jews, had devised against the Jews to destroy them. And they cast Pur, that is, the lot, to consume them and to destroy them. Esther 3:6-10. And he thought to scorn to lay hands on Mordecai alone. For they had showed him the people of Mordecai. Wherefore Haman sought to destroy all the Jews, who are the Israelites. They will throughout the whole kingdom of Idumea, of Ashurus, even the people of Mordecai. In the first month, that is, the month of Nisan, in the 12th year of King Ashurus, they cast Pur, that is, the lot, before Haman from day to day, and from month to month, to the 12th month, that is, the month of Adar. And Haman said unto King Ashurus, there's a certain people scattered abroad and dispersed among the people in all the provinces of your kingdom. And their law are diverse from all people. Neither keep they the king's laws, color of law. Therefore, it is not for the king's profit to allow them, suffer them. If it please the king, let it be written. Now they start writing what they told you that we don't have to follow by necessity. A mandate is not a law. By Roman Catholic Pope's private attorney and Yvonne Rittens. There is no force of law connected to a mandate, which is a private appointment matters. Thus you see that we provide for decree of the sovereignty over mandates established by trust agreements. Therefore, all the mandates and proclamations issued by Joe Biden and by the various state governors are not enforceable as public laws that everyone has to obey, except them. not the sovereign American Israelites. If anybody out there want to hear the truth, we are the Jews. We are the Jews. We are the Jews. Israelites. Israelites. Therefore, all the mandates and proclamations issued by Joe Biden and by the various state governors are not enforceable as public laws. Everyone has to obey. Contrary to what many people and even some law enforcement officials are assuming. Joe Biden and his franchise state governors have no authority to say one word about your health or any procedure related to health concerns unless you are employed by their corporations. Just as any CEO can mandate that his employees wear blue uniforms, Joe Biden can mandate that his workers get vaccinated. Or in this case, take part in an untested experimental procedure. Now, who are they? They're Esau's people. They're only one subject to him. Not the Hebrew Israelites, who are the Aboriginal indigenous people of this land. The Negroes that come from Jacob. Just as any CEO can mandate that his employees wear blue uniforms, Joe Biden can mandate that his workers get vaccinated. Or in this case, take part in an untested experimental procedure. Are you an employee or dependent on the brand new U.S. Inc.? Do you work for the Federal Civil Service? Are you a dependent of the Federal Civil Service worker? Are you a dependent of a Federal Civil Service worker? If not, none of Mr. Biden's mandates apply to you, and they cannot be imposed. If so, it's time to change jobs or tell your union to go on a strike. Please note that the CDC admits that there is no reliable test for anything called COVID-19 and no test at all for any variants. Put two and two together, folks. For the sake of your health, your wealth, your sanity, and your future, you need to realize that these foreign for-profit corporations, in the business of providing essential government services, are not trustworthy and not honest, not doing anything good for you. They're parasiting their own employees and killing off their dependents, who are also their priority creditors, to protect their bottom line. It's past time that we did our due diligence and discovery to unearth exactly who has been telling these corporate presidents what to do and start chewing up the way up the food chain. Back to what they devised. If it please the king, let it be written that they may be destroyed. What was that? Dr. Discovery, Dumb the Verses. Agenda 21, etc. All have no power over us. And that's why they told you the king has already decreed if they want to continue with what they're doing, that Judah, here comes Judah. If it please the king, let it be written that they may be destroyed. And I will pay 10,000 talents of silver to the hands of those that have the charge of the business to bring it into the king's treasuries. Now, that's why that treasury is ours. It belongs to the true and living king. And he told you he's sharing the booty with the kings because he's the king of kings. I've made you kings and priests. And we ain't worried about your stanky booty. We ain't worried about nobody twerking. He's talking about his real money. And the king took his ring from his hand and gave it to Haman, the son of Hammedah the Agagite, the Jews' enemy. Because Haman, the son of Hammedatha the Agagite, the enemy of all the Jews, had devised against the Jews to destroy them. They cast pur, that is, the lot, to consume them and to destroy them. When Esther came before the king, he commanded by letters that his wicked device, which he devised against the Jews, should return upon his own head, and that he and his sons should be hanged on the gallows. Do not harm any American Israelites. Those who do will face the death penalty just like the Nazis in Nuremberg. Just like Haman and his wicked sons. See, the Most High is running all this. You who are laying the rock to roll on the Hebrew Israelites, that same rock, who happens to be the Messiah, gonna crush you to powder. Even if you are Jusser Joxer in cahoots with Haman, your ass is out of here. Wherefore they called these days Purim, as in the name of Pur, or pure, P-U-R. These are the days of Purim. Therefore, all the words of this letter, of that which they shall have seen concerning this matter, and which had come unto them, the Jews ordained and took upon them, upon their seed. If anybody's out there who want to hear the truth, we are the Jews. We are the Jews. We are the Jews. Israelites. But all such as joined themselves unto them. So it should not fail that they would keep these 2 days according to their writing, according to their appointed time every year. And that these days should be remembered and kept throughout every generation, every family, every province, and every city. And that these days of Purim should not fail from among the Jews, the Negroes, not the Israelis, the Edomites. We're not them. We're the Israelites. If anybody's out there, if anybody out there want to hear the truth, we are the Jews. We are the Jews. We are the Jews. Israelites. Israelites. Nor the memorial of them perish from their seed. They don't never change. Who are the Negroes? Who are the Aboriginal indigenous people? Who the Most High calls is Israelites. Then Esther, the queen, the daughter of Abihail, and Mordecai, the Jew, wrote with all authority to confirm this second letter of Purim. Esther 2:15. Now when the turn of Esther, the daughter of Abihail, the uncle of Mordecai, who had taken her for his daughter, was come to go in unto the king, she required nothing but what Haggai, the king's chamberlain, the keeper of the women, appointed. And Esther obtained favor in the sight of all them that looked upon her, because she was a virtuous woman. Just like the bride is a virtuous woman. Who are, in my apostles and prophets, are men and women. The Melchizedek priesthood and the Sequilabah priesthood, Shem and son. And Mordecai, the Jew, wrote with all authority. Why? Because my prophets are men. To confirm this second letter of Purim. Esther 8:8-12. Write you also for the Jews, as it liketh you, in the king's name, and seal it with the king's ring. So I mean, the king even, your Roman Catholic Pope even gave me his ring. I got to get one so you can kiss it. Esther 8:8-12. Write you also for the Jews, as it liketh you. As you see fit. In the king's name, and seal it with the king's ring. Oh, don't worry about it. I'm sealing it with the real king's ring that they stole. But if you want to send me one, no problem. I'll wear it. For the writing which is written in the king's name and sealed with the king's ring, may no man reverse. Then were the king's scribes called at that time in the third month, that is the month of Sivan. We in it right now. On 3 and 20th day thereof, and it was written according to all that Mordecai commanded unto the Jews, and to the lieutenants, and the deputies and rulers of the provinces, which are from India unto Ethiopia. What's that? America. 127 provinces, to every province according to the writings thereof. Hebrew Israelites. All right, this is One World to Terrain, page 78. I'm just gonna read from the bottom. The Old Testament contains volcanoes, corn, bears, and tobacco, all which are native to America. Utah is Yehuda. It contains the city of Moab. The Great Salt Lake is the Dead Sea. There are more pyramids and megalithic structures in the Americas than anywhere else, including the Nile Valley. Amalek's people, the NWO, tells the story backwards. The Negro is the Indian or copper-colored indigenous people of the Americas, who is actually a redskin. Many think black people are black. Yet there are many shades of copper, which is the color of the earth. If you look in the old dictionaries, you will see that nigger and Indian were synonyms, that color is simply short for copper color. Why do you think they keep changing our titles from India to Negro to color to African American? The MUUR, Negro, is the most copied man on the earth. The letter. Esther the queen, the daughter of Abiel, and Mordecai the Jew, wrote with all authority to confirm this second letter of Purim. Then were the king's scribes called. That's why they're listening. The ones that were kings, the subject to me. Why do I say that? You don't like when I say me, huh? That's the Edomite in you. That's where you get the cough. Well, you might as well take a cough syrup or something. This is already written, and you subject to me. And you all subject to me. That's why you got to write this down as the law is already written. They confess it by necessity. Then were the former king's scribes, called at that time, in the third month. That is the month of Sivan, on the 23rd day thereof. And it was written according to all that Mordecai commanded unto the Jews, and to the lieutenants and the deputies and rulers of the provinces, which are from India, America, unto Ethiopia. 127 provinces, unto every province according to the writings thereof, unto every people after their language, and to the Jews according to their writing, according to their language. And he wrote in the king Ahasuerus' name, and sealed it with the king's ring. It sent letters by pots on horseback, and riders on mules, and camels, and young dromedaries. When the king granted the Jews which were in every city to gather themselves together, and to stand for their life, to destroy, to slay, and to cause to perish all the people, and promised that would assault them, both little ones and women, and to take to spoil them for a prey. See, I ain't got to lie to you. I can just read it to you. Now you got the Roman Catholic Pope and all of that line, and the ones who came and took them by necessity, that's going to have to do what this word is saying. That's why I'm telling you, I rule you. And you ain't lying. I read it to you. For who am I? I'm one of the kings that the king is made a king over. Of the Melchizedek priesthood. And when you tried to poison me, you tried to poison the Most High God, which means you tried to poison them. Feel sorry for you. The sealed portion, chapter 27, verse 91. And again I say unto you, if you observe to do whatsoever I command you, I, Yahweh, shall turn away all the wrath and indignation from you, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against you. Now I speak unto you concerning the families that you have set up among you, which was, who is that? I keep on wanting to say Malachi. Not Malachi, but what's this dude name? Haman's family. Who are the Edomites. And the other nations with him. Now I speak unto you concerning the families that you have set up among you, and also the nations which exist because of these families, which you have set up contrary to the commandments that I have given unto you. Because you have denied or desired these things, I have allowed that they should remain among you according to the desires of your heart. If any nation shall rise up and smite you once, well, you will realize now they went beyond that. They tried to genocide us. And you bear it patiently, and revile not against them, neither seek revenge, you should be rewarded. But if you bear it not patiently, it should not be counted unto you as being meted out as just measure unto you. And again, if your enemy shall smite you the second time, and you revile not against your enemy, and bear patiently, your reward shall be 100-fold. But if you bear it not patiently, even the second time, you should not be justified in your actions. You should be justified in your actions, but you should not receive a reward from me. And again, if your enemy shall smite you the third time, and you bear patiently, your reward shall be doubled unto fourfold. And these 3 testimonies shall stand against your enemies if you repent not. It should not be blotted out. And I shall remember them always and bring vengeance upon them for your sake. So that's why I told them, I never told them that I hate them. I just told them if they want to be around us, you better get back 4 times you taken and stop being a devil and be ready for slavery. Because he already promised to kill the rest of y'all. And now, verily I say unto you, if that enemy shall escape my vengeance, he be not brought into judgment before me in the flesh, Luke 19:27. But those my enemies, which were not that I should reign over them, bring them here and kill them right here before me. That's Yahweh talking. Luke 19:27. But those my enemies, which were not that I should reign over them, bring hither and slay them before me. That's the precept of what I just read. And now verily I say unto you, if that enemy shall escape my vengeance, that he be not brought into judgment before me in the flesh, then you shall see to it that you warn him in my name, that he come no more upon you, neither upon your families or your nation, to the third and fourth generation. And then if he shall come unto you, this is not this wishful thinking, and I'm telling you. By the evil you try to do to me and my family and my national family of Israel, who are the Israelites, you're going to die. You better try to find a quick way to kick in real quick. And he still might kill you for what you did, though. Remember what Amalek did to you. Remember what Haman did to you. And now, verily I say unto you, if that enemy shall escape my vengeance, that he be not brought into judgment before me in the flesh, Luke 19:27, but those my enemies, which would that I not should reign over them, bring hither and slay them before me. That's why I told you I'm reigning over you. You better get used to it. And then if he shall come upon you, I have delivered your enemy into your hands. And you can do unto them that which you shall desire to protect yourselves from him, or destroy him from before you. Don't just go very, very well with Peter. We just read it. And then if he shall come upon you, I have delivered your enemy into your hands. You can do unto them that which you shall desire to protect yourselves from him, or destroy him from before you. If you should spare him, you should be rewarded for your righteousness. Nevertheless, your enemy is in your hands. And if you reward him according to the works, his works, then you're justified before me. Yet if he assault your lives, and your lives and your freedom are endangered by him, then he is in your hands, and you are justified. Behold, this is the law that I've caused to be given. This is part of the law of the gospel. This is greater than the law of Moses. For one greater than Moses is here. Hebrews 3:3. For this man was counted worthy more glory than Moses, inasmuch as he has who has built the house has more honor than the house. But if you shall spare him, you shall be rewarded for your righteousness. Nevertheless, your enemy is in your hands. And if you reward him according to his works, then you are justified before me. Yeah, if he assaults your lives, and your lives and your freedom are endangered by him, then he is in your hands. You are justified. Behold, this is the law that I've caused to be given to all my prophets, my friends. And I've commanded them to teach these things unto the children of men. Let's go back to prove that he's talking about who his friends are. They say, you tell me who you hang around and I'll show you your friends. Show me your friends and I'll show you who you are. That's why I said in the same book, I've given all this power to those who are closest to me, my friends. See, y'all isolate me, but you got me around my friends. Because you think I'm alone. I'm not alone. My father's with me. And the rest of my friends that you can't see. And they know any better, they better try to hang around. Because I'm one of the man next to the man. He not a man, he should lie. The seal portion, chapter 35, verse 35. I've sent forth prophets to all these nations, that I might bring the children of men unto repentance, that they might recognize their true kinsman redeemer and keep the commandments that I've given unto them. But those prophets shall know me for who I am. They shall be my friends, and my brothers, and my sisters. Seal portion, chapter 27 and 99. Yet if he have sought your lives, and your lives and your freedom are endangered by him, then he is in your hands, and you are justified. Behold, this is the law that I have caused to be given to all my prophets, my friends. And I've commanded them to teach these things unto the children of men and all nations of the earth, all of their brothers and sisters all around the world. They told you from America to Egypt, or to Ethiopia. Aren't you like the Ethiopians unto me, O Israel? And I commanded them to teach these things unto the children of men and all the nations of the earth. And again, this is the law that I given unto them, that they should counsel with the leaders of the nations, that they should not go out unto the battle against any nation. He said, you can't force us to go to your wars. Send your sons. That's why they told you a mandate is not a law. You can't force us to do nothing you tell us to do. And again, this is the law that I gave unto them, that they should counsel with the leaders of the nations, that they should not go out unto battle against any nation, kindred, tongue, or people, save I, Yahweh, commanded. But I do not want my children to hurt one another. We're not going to kill nobody from other nations, because our brothers and sisters there who are Israelites. I don't want my children to hurt one another. They should love their enemies and do good unto them. That's those enemies who don't know the Israelites, who are the house of Jacob. Go and tell them and warn them in my name and tell them that you're the Israelites. Nevertheless, because of the power of Satan, it is necessary at times that the righteous defend themselves against that which is evil. And if any nation, tongue, or people should proclaim war against them, they should first lift up a standard of peace unto that people, nation, or tongue. If that people do not accept the offering of peace, neither the second nor the third time, then shall the testimonies of which I have spoken be brought before me. Then I, Yahweh, would give unto them a commandment and justify them in going out to battle against that nation, tongue, or people, in defense of their freedom. And only in the defense of their freedom shall they fight. For there is a people or a nation or a tongue that does not desire their freedom, or the laws or the Constitution for the United States of America of freedom, then they shall not be forced to accept these freedoms or these laws or this Constitution. And there shall never be a war of the offense given by my commandment. And if you have abided my commandments concerning these things, then I, Yahweh, shall fight your battles. And the battles of your children. The battles of the children of your children. That's why I made them confess to it. You better not touch none of us. Just like it did in Mordecai's day. That's why we celebrating Purim. And now you know we're at the time now because we just had the leap year. I thought it was a coincidence I brought that up. Talking about the leap year, because I didn't realize that day. I said, wait a minute, I thought the February had 28 days, as they call it. And I said 29, so then he led me into the teaching on the leap year. Now I see why he did it. It runs into Purim. See portion 27 and 104. There should never be a war of the offense given by my command. If you have abided by my commandments concerning these things, then I, Yahweh, shall fight your battles. And the battles of your children, the battles of the children of your children, until they have avenged themselves on their enemies to the third and fourth generation. Behold, this is an example unto all the people, says Yahweh God, your God, for the justification before me. For I should never command you contrary to the law of the gospel. Everything I'm read to you right now, this is the law of the gospel. They don't tell you about none of this in your church. For I should never command you contrary to the law of the gospel that I have given unto you. Nevertheless, I shall not allow you to be destroyed. If you're abiding in the law of the gospel, which is the covenant that I've given unto your father. See, the law of the gospel is a new covenant. That's why I said I require obedience more than sacrifice to get this covering. If you want the fullness of the gospel to cover you, be obedient or go get baptized. To get into the celestial kingdom, but yet you're still going to be covered. You just might not make it to the celestial kingdom. Verse 106, nevertheless, I shall not allow you to be destroyed if you're abiding in the law of the gospel, which is the covenant that I have given unto your fathers, that Paul was talking about. And again, verily I say unto you, if after your enemy has come up on you the first time, and repented and cometh unto you praying for your forgiveness, you shall forgive him. I shall hold it no more as a testimony against your enemy. He's talking about your brethren in Israel who don't know the Israelites. And this you should do to the second time, to the third time. After your enemy repented of the trespasses with he has trespassed against you, you should forgive him. Unto the 70 times 7. That's to the Israelite. If your enemy trespasses against you and repented not the first time, nevertheless you shall forgive him. If the enemy trespasses against you, repented not the second time, nevertheless you shall forgive him. If your enemy trespasses against you and repented not the third time, you should also forgive him. Now you're talking about to the rest of the nations. But if he trespass against you the fourth time, and he repented not for that which he has done, then you should not forgive him, but should bring these testimonies before me. And that's why we celebrating Purim. And they should not be blotted out before me until he repented and rewarded to you fourfold and all things whereas he has trespassed against you. If he does this, you forgive him for all for with all your heart. They still go into captivity though. You're just not gonna hold what they done against you. The Most High's judgment is holding that against them. For what they thought to do you through dumb diversions, keep you captive forever. He said, I'm gonna do to you, I'm gonna do to them what they thought to do to you. And if you do it this, you should forgive him with all your heart. But if you do it not this, then I, Yahweh, will avenge you of your enemy 100-fold, and upon his children, and the children of his children, of all them that hate me, to the third and fourth generation. But if the children of your enemy repent, that's why I said they can come bending on knee, bringing in their wealth, licking up the dust of our feet. Yahweh, their God, with all their heart, with all their might, mind, and strength, and restore fourfold for all their trespasses with what they have trespassed, then your indignation shall be turned away from them, and shall remember no more the trespasses of their fathers against you, their wicked forefathers. And the vengeance shall no more come upon them, says Yahweh, your God. And their trespasses shall never be brought any more as a testimony before Yahweh against them. And now I, Moroni, have included these commands of Yahweh, which he has allowed to be given unto us because of the wickedness of the trespasses that are prevalent among the children of men. It is in the nations with the most evil leaders, and they told us that was the United States, the Europeans, to take an offense against another nation. And the purpose of their offenses is for gain. For they desire this gain that they might not work by the sweat of their own brow. And they love the honor and the praises of those whom they subject to their laws, which laws are set up to protect their riches and their honor and their glory among men. See, I don't have to say nothing bad to you, man, or women. I just tell you what God says. You go ahead and risk it if you want and see if he playing. I ain't finished yet. Because you know I'm reading what he said. I'm not lying. I'm not a liar like you. I'm talking about those you liars out there that's from Edom and the rest of the people that's liars. All I got to do is read what he said. Luke 19:27. But those my enemies, which would not that I should reign over them, bring here and slay them before me. He said that. Mock that. And then Esther, queen, the daughter of Abihail, and Mordecai, the Jew, wrote with all authority to confirm this second letter of Purim. Esther 8:8-12. Write you also for the Jews as it liketh you, in the king's name. Well, now we know what king he's talking about. Yahweh's name. And said it with the king's ring, for the writing which is written in the king's name. And sealed it with the king's ring, may no man reverse. Because he's not a man that he should lie. Then were the king's scribes called at that time in the 3rd month, that is, the month of Sivan, on 3 and 20th day thereof. And it was written according to that of Mordecai commanded unto the Jews, and to the lieutenants and the deputies and rulers of the provinces, which are from India, America, unto Ethiopia. Aren't you like unto the Ethiopians unto me, Israel? And 127 provinces, unto every province according to the writings thereof. And to every people after their language, and to the Jews according to their writings, according to their language. And he wrote in the king Ahasuerus' name, and sealed it with the king's ring, because they start confessing by necessity. And sent letters by post on horseback, and riders on mules, camels, and young dromedaries, when the king granted the Jews which were in every city to gather themselves together, to stand for their life, to destroy, to slay, and to cause to perish all the power of the people and provinces that would assault them. That's why he told he said those powers have to submit to me. Why? I'm coming in Yahweh's name. standing up for the people by the decree of Yahweh. This is his word. Both little ones and women, and to take spoil of them for a prey. Upon one day, all of the provinces of King Ahasuerus, namely upon the 13th day of the 12th month, which is the month of Adar. And he sent the letter unto all the Jews. Well, he just sent this one through the internet. Jews. To the 127 provinces of the kingdom of Ahasuerus, with the words of peace and truth. Esther 1:1. Now it came to pass in the days of Ahasuerus, this is Ahasuerus, which reigned from India even to Ethiopia over 127 provinces, to confirm these days of Purim and their times appointed, according as Mordecai the Jew and Esther the queen had enjoined them, as they had decreed for themselves and for their seed the matters of fasting and their cry. Esther 4:3-16. And in every province, whatsoever the king's commandment and his decree came, there was great mourning among the Jews, and fasting, and weeping, and wailing, and many lay in sackcloth and ashes. Go gather together all the Jews that are present in Shushan and fast you for me, and neither eat nor drink 3 days, night or day. I also and my maidens will fast likewise, and so will I go in unto the king, which is not according to the law. If I perish, I perish. And the decree of Esther confirmed these matters of Purim. It was written in the book. Kwam Nesarala.